Yeah. Now I feel it. It's different. When we spar, it's a whole different. But now he got the power. He's always had power, but now it's a different power, man. And he still got the speed and the movement and agility is crazy, man. So his movement ain't nothing changed, man. They gonna see. They gonna see, man. I wish it was September 12th right now. It'll be tomorrow. But we got 2 weeks. We got 2 weeks from tomorrow. Everybody gonna see. It's gonna be groundbreaking. It's gonna be something like spaceship landed on Earth.
Crawford's sparring partner just revealed that something feels completely different this time. Power, speed, and movement are on another level. And now, Canelo is walking straight into that storm, heading toward a fight that could shake the sport like never before. Meanwhile, Crawford's coach, Spike, stepped in with his own bold reassurance. He stated, "Everything is going to work. Everything is going to be perfect. His weight is good. His legs are fine. His mind is sharp. We've done our homework. Everything's going to be fine." It was more than confidence. It sounded like certainty. Every detail, from weight to mindset, had already been sharpened with precision. The way Spikes delivered it, you could feel the calm before the storm, as if nothing had been left to chance. Canelo isn't just facing Crawford. He's walking into a camp that believes destiny is already sealed. And when that bell rings, the world may witness a night that redefines what's possible inside the ring. And then came a reality check from Spikes, reminding everyone that this isn't just about size.
Now, first and foremost, Canelo is a smart fighter. Like, people are more concerned looking at the size, but Canelo is an intelligent boxer. There's always a method to what he's doing. So let me just make that clear. We're not going in there just looking at size. Canelo is smart. Canelo set traps. He has good timing, solid defense. You know what I mean? And, you know, it's respect given to Canelo and everything that he's accomplished. He's seen every style. He's overcome a lot of obstacles that he's been faced with. So I don't want the narrative, you know, I see that the narrative is size, but Canelo is a smart fighter in his own right. However, like I told you before, our IQ, our toolbox, same situation I told you last time. Picking the right tool at the right time is going to beat this guy. We're prepared for every situation possible, whether it's on the rope, center of the ring, wherever you want to put it. We're prepared for any and every scenario. Come fight now.
He knew Canelo's strength wasn't only in his body, but in his mind, his traps, timing, defense, tools that break fighters long before the knockout ever comes. But Spikes made it clear that they've sharpened Crawford's mind to not only match that challenge, but to outthink it. This fight isn't just muscle against muscle. It's a clash of strategies, IQ versus IQ. And when two masterminds meet in the ring, a single mistake can shift the entire fight. That's where the true danger lies. That's why Fight Night could flip the script in ways nobody sees coming. He also pointed out Canelo's training partners, but Spikes dismissed it with calm confidence.
I mean, we can't be worried about what he's doing. He's doing the right thing to get the best guys to try to get him prepared. I mean, he should be taking Bud serious. I hope he's not taking Bud lightly. So, I mean, obviously he's taking his camp serious and getting good guys in there to push him. I mean, we got good guys in us to push us. We're crossing our T's and dotting our I's. It doesn't matter what he does over there. And at the same time, a lot is made due about sparring. And just overall, like 16 ounces in headgears is different than 10 ounces and under the lights. So with that being said, me personally, I'm not concerned about, and our team, we're not concerned about who we sparring with, this, that, and other. That's why I made the joke on Twitter. Well, I hope the odds swing in his favor since he's working with Boots and everybody think that that's such a huge advantage for him. Okay, so I was just making a little joke about it, and I'm serious at the same time. So
for him, it wasn't about who was in the opposite camp. It was about who was standing in their own gym. They believe Crawford's preparation already accounts for every possibility. No headgear, no excuses, just the raw truth under the lights. Sparring might give some fighters a slight edge, but it can't prepare anyone for the chaos inside the ring. Spike spoke like a man with complete faith in his team's system, and it gave the impression that Crawford is already 2 steps ahead. The conversation then turned to history and the undeniable fact that skill can erase size.
You know what, these type of fights, is usually people look at it as like the smaller fighter usually has to box and move. A lot of people just draw in comparisons to like Leonard and Hagler or any type of other fighter moving up. And the big key of it is speed. Is there truth behind all that? I know that speed's always a component of all of it, but more than normal because of the fact that...
I'm going to say styles make fights. Styles make fights. Littler guys with more skill have beaten bigger guys over the years. Like it's happened. Like you said, Sugar Ray Leonard and Marvin Hagler. You could say when Michael Spinks moved to heavyweight, he was a light heavyweight champion. Evander Holyfield was a light heavyweight cruiserweight champion. Usyk is a smaller guy. It's not a natural. I mean, he's grown into the weight now, but he's beating bigger guys with his boxing skill. I mean, it goes on and on. It skills pay the bills at the end of the day. It's just about being prepared, having a good game plan, and having the right dog in the race. You know what I mean? And that's what matters.
From Leonard to Usyk, the story has followed a familiar pattern. Smaller, smarter fighters rising up to shock the giants. Spikes reminded everyone that boxing isn't about simple calculations. It's about timing, rhythm, and heart. Canelo might be the bigger man, but true skill has a way of bending the rules of weight and reach. Crawford isn't just stepping into the ring to fight. He's stepping in to rewrite the narrative. History has shown that underdogs, when equipped with the right tools, can bring legends to their knees. And now, that shadow quietly looms over Canelo. Spikes also gave a glimpse behind the scenes, admitting that sparring wasn't always smooth.
Mazurov was a tricky style. He did a lot of feints. He wasn't committing. He was very patient. You know, this is a completely different style from what Canelo's going to bring. So, you know, Mazurov gave us a little bit of difficulty. He came to win. He came prepared, but we overcame the obstacle. You know, and that's just that. That's in the past, and you know we're looking towards Canelo.
Madurov's tricky style pushed them to dig deeper, forcing the team to adapt and sharpen every detail. It was a real test, a reminder that true victory is earned through overcoming obstacles. But that challenge only made Crawford stronger for what lies ahead. Canelo won't come with feints or hesitation. He'll come with fire. And it's in that fire where Crawford's true preparation will be put to the test. Spike spoke as if the storm they endured in training was just a preview of the war that's coming. The conversation then shifted to Canelo's past defeats, and Spikes didn't hold back from speaking the truth.
Canelo, you guys will be facing?
I can't say. I can't get into that. But I'm going to say that I love Bivol. I love Dimitri Bivol. He's one of my favorite fighters. He lost to a hell of a fighter. He lost to a future Hall of Famer. And, you know, that's just that. There's nothing I can really say about that. He didn't lose to a regular guy. He lost to a pound for pound elite fighter and a bigger guy at that. So, I mean, that's not much that I can really say about that. But as far as his improvements, he's shown some things, but, you know, you'll see us exploit him on fighting.
He emphasized that yes, Canelo did fall before, but Spikes made sure to frame it as a loss to greatness, not weakness. Respect was given, but respect doesn't equal fear. They've studied Canelo's improvements and dissected every adjustment he's made since. And behind Spike's words was the promise that those very improvements will be turned into openings. On fight night, it won't be about the past, but about who can bend the present to their will. And Spikes hinted that the man to do that will be Crawford. Then Spikes broke down one of the biggest myths surrounding the fight: size.
Fought bigger guys since he was 14, 15 years old. So size doesn't matter. You know what I mean? It's a skill. It's what you got up here and it's what you got here. Everything else will fall into play.
To him, size is just another illusion, one that Crawford shattered years ago. Since his teenage days, he's faced bigger, stronger men without ever flinching. What truly matters is what's in the mind and the heart. That's where the real fight is won, not on the scales. Spikes delivered this message like a warning to Canelo. His weight won't protect him when skill takes control. And inside that ring, the smaller man might just carry the bigger punch. Spikes left the room with one chilling promise for Canelo.
One thing for sure is Canelo is going to feel his power. Canelo is going to respect Bud Crawford. He's not going to be able to just walk through him and whatever he thinks. You know what I mean? Bud is a very strong fighter. He's a very good puncher. And like I said before, this is going to be the key in this. Punching power, speed, timing, all that's good. But it's a mental game. This is what's going to carry us through that night.
The moment they trade leather, Canelo will realize that Crawford isn't someone who can be easily walked down. Power, timing, and speed are all sharpened to cut through even the toughest guard. But more than fists, it's the mental edge that Spikes trusts. Then Nelson shifted gears, explaining why this fight with Canelo is unlike anything fans have seen before. He spoke with a kind of certainty that makes you stop and listen.
People gotta understand, man, like every fight is different. There's so many perspectives and so many things that go on. And not to reveal everything, but that fight was that fight. This fight for Canelo, man, like, it's not fight night yet, but him moving up, people's gonna be surprised, dude. It's not like he's a small guy and he just put on a whole bunch of weight. Like, but he's a bigger frame. He always been bigger. He always had to cut down. He always had to cut down to them weights. So now he gets the difference from this fight is he won't have to cut down. He just go in the ring. You look at all this weights for all the other fights, it's 168, 170. So when he fought 154, he was like 170, 172 going in the ring. So he gonna go in there the same way this fight. He's strong, man. He's strong.
Crawford isn't coming in as some undersized underdog. This is a version of Bud who won't be drained or held back. A fighter stepping into the ring at full strength. Nelson's words painted a picture of a man built for this weight, built for this moment. And if Canelo thinks size will be his advantage, he may be in for a rude awakening. The suspense grows heavier with every word because the truth is, we won't know until the first punch lands. But when it does, the whole world will find out just how real this fight is. Later, Nelson pulled back the curtain even more, sharing stories that reveal a side of Crawford most people never get to see. It wasn't hype, it was history.
Bud been sparring since I've been boxing. But even before I spar, Bud always sparred bigger guys. You know, he's Lester Martinez, the other heavyweights, and light heavyweights and middleweights, wherever he can get, where he can get, man. He always he always hold himself down. He always hold his ground, man. And people just don't know until they get in the ring, and they always say, just like Errol said, man, Bud power is real. It's real, man. And it's like, people say what he can and shouldn't and couldn't and haven't been. Like, that's what makes people great. Anybody that's ever been great, they always did something that people didn't expect.
Correct.
And that's going to be Bud. He's going to do something that nobody is expecting. A lot of people is expecting are real supporters, but a lot of people who's a doubters are going to be like, dang. Or they're going to come up with excuses like always.
From his earliest days in the gym, Bud was testing himself against giants, standing toe-to-toe with men much bigger and stronger. That's where the steel was forged, where the confidence we see today was born. Nelson's reminder carried weight. True greatness comes from defying the odds. The whispers of doubt have always followed Crawford, but so have the moments that silenced them. And this time, Nelson hinted, the silence could shake the sport. Then Andre Ward stepped in, drawing from his own experience of moving up weight classes. What he revealed about Crawford's situation flipped the narrative completely.
Initial conversation was warranted. He's really moving up 3 weight classes since his last fight at 147 with Errol Spence roughly about 2 years ago. So it's really a 3 weight class jump. I think what people have to understand, and I had to understand this when I moved up to face Sergey Kovalev, I went and I consulted with Mackie Shieldstone. And I kept using the phrase, I'm moving up in weight. I'm moving up in weight. I got to get my body ready to move up in weight. He said, have you seen the scale lately? Have you looked at your body scan lately? And I think at that time I was like maybe 185, 188. He said, you're not moving up in weight. You're just cutting less. And that was like, man, that was transformative for me because I looked and I was like, man, you're right. So technically I'm moving up weight classes, or a weight class in my case, but I'm really not moving up in weight. I'm just not having to boil myself down. So
It wasn't about bulking up or chasing pounds. It was about finally being free from the cut. Ward made it clear that Crawford isn't carrying a burden. He's shedding one. This isn't a man moving into unfamiliar territory. It's a man entering his natural zone. That kind of difference changes everything once the bell rings, because when your body feels whole, your mind fights without hesitation. And that's the version of Crawford Canelo will be facing. Ward didn't stop there. He broke down exactly why Crawford might show up stronger and sharper than ever before.
Stronger, and I think he's going to have better endurance. Not being able to boil himself down like that. And even though it is a huge jump, I think we lose sight of the fact of how much he had to boil down and how gaunt he looked at 140. And even quickly at 147, it got to the point where you start to cut into muscle mass. If you know anything about weight loss, at a certain point, that affects you in a boxing ring. Boxing, maybe wrestling, and MMA are the only sports where you have to tear yourself down for two months or 3 months, not just the training, but the weight loss. And then you have less than or right around 24 hours to put it back on. And then you need to go be great the next night. Everybody else gets to play or compete at their walking around weight or their playing weight. So I think that's going to favor Terence Crawford, is not having to boil down 25 or 20. It's probably going to be about 10 to 12.
The endless grind of boiling down is gone. No more stripping muscle. No more walking into the ring drained. Ward reminded everyone that most athletes compete at their natural weight, but fighters suffer through a system that pushes them to the brink. Crawford has lived that life, and now he's stepping away from it. With more energy, more strength, and more time to focus purely on fighting, he becomes a different animal. And when you mix skill with fresh endurance, you get a dangerous recipe. That's the man Ward sees waiting for Canelo. Ward then turned his attention directly to Canelo, and what he said carried the weight of a warning.
A couple of things are true. I think number one, I think Father Time is catching up to Canelo, but it's subtle. A little less punch output than normal. Maybe the reflexes have weaned just a little bit, but he's still better than most fighters in the world today. I don't think the Skull fight was a matter of age. I think Canelo Alvarez is extremely crafty, not just in the ring, but up here. And it's similar to a football team scrimmaging early in preseason. I'm not pulling out the playbook. I'm gonna give you some mundane vanilla plays. We'll run some power left or some power right. We'll do a couple of slants. We'll show a little bit, but when we play you in the season, it's not going to be the same guy that you saw. So if people think that they're getting the Canelo Alvarez that fought Scrub, they're sadly mistaken. I think Canelo did just what he had to do. But when you face a real threat and you're a great fighter, you elevate mentally, psychologically, physically, because you have to. Canelo Alvarez is going to be different come September 3rd.
He hinted at something subtle. That time might be catching up, but greatness always has another gear. Canelo may appear slower in some fights, but Ward made it clear that champions don't reveal their full hand until it truly matters. Against a threat like Crawford, Canelo will rise, sharpen, and come alive. That's where the real danger lies. Not in what we've already seen, but in what remains hidden. Ward's words left the impression that September won't show the old Canelo or a fading Canelo. It will reveal a Canelo we've never seen before, and one Crawford must be ready to break. After outlining the fine line between greatness and decline, the conversation shifted to another respected voice in boxing. Adam Smith shared his perspective, carrying the weight of experience.
Canelo is known. I think Canelo, obviously the Mexican machismo that holds all the super middleweight titles, nearly 70-odd fights. He's been phenomenal. I think he's 35 now. But for Terence Crawford, he has definitely gone under the radar. 4-weight world champion, 41-0, 31 knockouts. A southpaw who's got IQ and speed and craft. I think it's a fabulously interesting matchup, the two of them, because you've got the big guy, the strong super middleweight, really, really cultured, wonderful fighter in Canelo, but is he just slightly, ever so slightly, fine margins past his peak? And you've got Crawford, who needs this fight as is coming out.
His words felt like a warning wrapped in analysis, pointing to a fight balanced on a razor's edge. He didn't dismiss Canelo's power or legacy, but hinted that Crawford's timing could be perfect. It painted the picture of a showdown where skill and intelligence might outshine brute force. Every angle he raised only added more tension to the story of September 13th. By the end, you couldn't help but feel this wasn't just another fight. It was destiny meeting resistance. One man defending his empire, the other trying to carve his name into history. As the discussion deepened, Adam Smith didn't hold back from addressing the toughest question. Could Crawford actually pull it off?
A huge step again in weights, but I think he's got the speed, and I think he's got the know-how, I'm sure we'll talk about it more next week, to cause problems for Canelo, and I think that he could win it on point.
His answer didn't come lightly. It wasn't hype. It was measured belief. He weighed Crawford's speed, IQ, and adaptability against the mountain of experience that is Canelo, and somehow, his words left the door wide open for an upset. It's the kind of prediction that makes fans lean forward in their seats, pulse racing, wondering if history is about to bend. By the time he finished, it felt less like speculation and more like a spark igniting the possibility of a seismic shock. When it came to breaking down the fight on paper, Robert Garcia didn't shy away from the reality of the challenge Crawford faces. He laid out the danger in blunt terms.
On paper, Canelo should win. Canelo's bigger and stronger. And if Canelo lands good punches, I think Canelo could hurt Crawford. Crawford's, first time in that division and jumping 2 divisions where he only had one fight at 154 and didn't look his best either. So there's a lot of questions, about that. And that's why a lot of people think Canelo is going to knock out Crawford. But
the weight, the size, the power, it all tilts toward Canelo, and Garcia's words reminded everyone just how high the mountain really is. Questions about Crawford's move up in divisions only add to the tension. It's the kind of uncertainty that fuels doubt, but also ignites curiosity. Because in boxing, the what-if is often the spark that lights the fire. And in this case, the doubt only makes the stage for September feel even bigger. But Garcia didn't leave it at that. He also gave Crawford his due, showing why this fight can't be written off so easily.
One of the only ones that I do give Crawford a chance. Yeah. I think Crawford could pull it off. Crawford is very talented. He's very fast. He's very smart in the ring. So I think a perfect fight, Crawford could pull off a decision.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I think he could win a decision. I don't pick him. I wouldn't put my money on him winning because it's a very dangerous, risky fight, especially with Canelo being so strong.
It was respect, pure and measured. Crawford's speed, his ring IQ, his ability to adapt, those aren't traits you can ignore. Garcia painted a picture where perfection could tilt the scales, where one flawless night could change history. It was cautious hope wrapped in an acknowledgement of risk. And yet, his words gave life to the idea that Crawford's skill might be enough, that maybe, just maybe, the upset is real. Then Garcia pointed to the one factor that could truly open the door for Crawford, Canelo's recent form.
But Canelo's last few performances, he's looked slow, flat-footed, looking for one punch at a time. And if that's the Canelo that fights Crawford, Crawford could win a decision. Crawford could outbox him, could outsmart him, could land 3-4 punch combinations and move and win a decision. So do I give Crawford a chance? 100% think Crawford could pull it off. Would I put my money on it? Probably not, but I do give him a chance.
He spoke about the signs, the small cracks that only a sharp eye can see, the slower feet, the single-shot hunting, the moments where the fire seems dimmer. If that version of Canelo shows up, the fight could swing in Crawford's favor. It's not about strength. It's about sharpness, timing, and staying a step ahead. Garcia's perspective turned the fight into a chess match where speed and strategy might checkmate brute power, and that possibility is what makes this matchup electric. Meanwhile, Sebastian Fundora has also highlighted that Canelo has already proven his dominance at 168, collecting every belt and solidifying himself as the man to beat. Crawford, on the other hand, is stepping into unknown territory, and the jump in weight brings more questions than answers.
Comfortable at 168, that he's been fighting there. He went and collected all the belts at that weight class. Crawford, of course, Crawford has a chance. He has a big chance, being one of the pound-for-pound fighters of the world. But it's just the advantage of being there first. You know what to expect in that weight class. Crawford's coming off a 154 fight that he fought last year. So I really don't consider him even a 154. He's been fighting at 147 for a while. He had that one fight at 154, and then he stopped fighting for a year again. So, of course he's probably been training, again, high-class fighter. But to be comfortable at 168, you're gonna have to do some fights in there. And going in there fighting the undisputed champion.
Sebastian pointed out that being comfortable at 168 takes more than just moving up in weight. It requires experience, timing, and knowing how your body reacts against naturally bigger fighters. Crawford may be a high-level pound-for-pound talent, but facing the undisputed champion in his very first real test at super middleweight is an entirely different challenge. The advantage lies with the fighter who already knows the battleground. Fundora also turned his attention to the camps and sparring choices made in preparation.
Good for Canelo's camp to have a fighter like Ennis. Because, he likes to switch right-handed, southpaw. I think Canelo probably didn't need that. But, the fact that Ennis went might cause a little bit of drama. I think he did for a dramatic effect. But, great fighter at 147. But 154 is a different division. They have me in there, so we'll see what he can do.
He noted that the selection of sparring partners, like bringing in Jaron Ennis, wasn't just about physical preparation, but could also add drama to the build-up. With his switch-hitting style, Ennis offers valuable looks, but Fundora questioned whether Canelo truly needed it. He suggested it may have been done as much for effect as for strategy, showing how psychological edges play a big role before the first punch is even thrown. At the end of the day, this fight isn't just about belts, it's about legacy. Canelo Alvarez has the experience, the power, and proven success at 168. But Terence Crawford carries something equally dangerous: speed, IQ, and the hunger to shock the world. When you put all of that together, you don't just get a fight, you get a potential turning point in boxing history. What do you think? Does Canelo still have enough in the tank to prove he's the king at 168? Or will Crawford's speed, intelligence, and hunger break through the weight gap? Is this the fight where Canelo cements his legacy further, or the one where Crawford writes a new chapter? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel and tune in for more videos like this. You won't want to miss what's coming.